Where am I actually hurting myself because I'm putting this pressure on myself? What's looking to be liberated? What's looking to actually shift from the ego reflex, the rational mind thought process, to being transcended beyond ego and into spirit? Abundance is an inside job, and your intuition is the key to unlocking it all. Hello and welcome. I'm Rebecca Davison, founder of the Intuitive Life Academy, the leading place to develop your intuitive and psychic gifts. As an ascension guide and light leader, I'm committed to bringing you all the latest tools, developments, and the neuroscience available when it comes to the art of effortless manifestation. This show is for lightworkers and for those who identify that your intuition is your greatest guide to bring you happiness, expansion, and money. With my corporate banking background, you'll receive practical advice along with all the energetic tools that you can apply in your life today. So if this resonates with you, let's jump into the world of abundance and learn what it takes to experience true freedom. Hi folks, welcome. It's Rebecca Davison, the host of the Intuitive Abundance podcast, founder of the Intuitive Life Academy. Welcome folks. Today in episode 12, we are talking about surrender and why this is so important on the pathway to manifesting and creating what it is that you want. So I'm going to approach this topic from lots of different perspectives because I think when it comes to surrender, we have to really unpack and look at our humanness versus our spiritual beingness, and realizing that surrender really is the process of letting go of our human self to elevate into spirit self. But how do we go about doing that? That's always the question. And why is it so important in terms of manifestation? So I'm sure we've all had that experience where we're looking to create something and we're maybe moving towards it and we're feeling good about it. And then inevitably we start grinding our gears. Like we feel like it's taking too long, or we feel like it's not happening, or we're starting to go into resistance. The process of surrender is really one of letting go of resistance. So the number one thing that I would share with you in terms of surrender is to hold this in mind. And that is, what does it take to be happy no matter what? And we'll unpack this because no doubt, even listening to this, you might have a little reaction because, we have an ego. So to be happy no matter what means that you can be happy whether you manifest what it is that you want or not. Now, and again, we need to unpack this a little bit more to be able to go, okay, well, that means that I would feel free. That means that I would be in the energy of acceptance of what is here now, that I would be appreciating what is here now. And when we do that, of course, we lower our resistance and we're in a space where we're open and expanded, which is important in terms of being able to manifest easily. Your energy field, you want it to be open, you want it to be expanded, you want it to be easy to magnetize and attract what it is that you want. So being happy no matter what your circumstances are, no matter what is happening externally, is a huge rule of thumb in terms of creating what you want, because then you can't be swayed by outside circumstances. You can't be swayed by opinions of other people. You can't be swayed by what other people are doing or experiencing. You're not going into comparison. You're not going into competition. You're staying in your own lane and choosing to be happy no matter what. So I think that's a really good overarching theme to connect to in terms of surrender. What does it take for me to be happy no matter what? But let's start looking at this a little bit deeper. So of course we have an ego. And what is the ego? The ego is a reflex, right? When you go to the doctor and the doctor taps you on the knee and your knee goes bouncy forward, your ego is the same kind of reflex. So the ego in and of itself can often get a really bad rap, but it's actually just a reflex. So within itself, it's actually neutral, but what it's doing, because it's just that reflex, right? But what it's doing, of course, is it's looking to keep us safe. And the ego is always going to create disconnection, right? Wanting to separate ourselves from what we think might harm us. So that ego reflex, when we see other people and we might go into a bit of judgment or comparison or competition, that's where the ego gets activated, because it's actually trying to keep us safe, and it's trying to keep us really away from our own harmful thought processes. The thought processes that say, oh, I'm not good enough, or that person's got more than I do, or they seem to be so happy and I don't have that, or they don't understand about what's happened to me. The ego reflex and the rational mind thought process after the ego reflex is really important, because it can really determine what we're focusing on. And of course, as you know, when it comes to manifestation, what you focus on expands, and it's really important. So we want to learn to love our ego and accept it, be aware of it, but also make a different choice. And the choice, of course, is to shift away from ego and into spirit. So this is the big secret about surrender. Surrender is a spiritual process. It is not something that you can do from the rational mind. You need to ask the universe to help you. And that is why it is so powerful, because the universe, of course, is infinitely wise and knowledgeable and can help us surrender really quickly if we allow it. But it's not something that we can just do from our rational mind. It's also like forgiveness. We can't really forgive just from the rational mind, because our ego won't really allow it, because it's trying to keep us safe. So when you start to see it from that perspective and realize that your ego is trying to protect you, it's really about the conversation that we have beyond that, which is to be kind and loving towards yourself when you are having an ego reaction. So you can actually go, oh, wow, look what I'm doing. I'm trying to protect myself here. I'm trying to keep myself safe. And that's so amazing that I've relied on that way of thinking or that default reflex mechanism in the past. But now I'm going to choose something different. Now I'm going to choose to be more aware, and I'm going to choose to shift out of the judgment and into more expansion, into a place of acceptance and love, and really asking the universe to help us to shift beyond ego. Because what happens, of course, is the ego, in terms of manifestation, it gets sticky. That horrible feeling, right? When you're really attached to something and it starts activating control freak energy in you. You start getting really controlling, and you're like, it has to show up this way, and it has to be this way, and I need it to be this way. And if it's not this way, then there's something wrong with me. It can really move us into a downward spiral pretty quickly if we're not really aware of what is happening and choosing to bring loving kindness to it. Because of course, we want to allow the universe to help us, because it's so easy, I'm sure you'll know, to get stuck in a downward spiral, a thought process which has the chemical reaction, which creates a feeling and sensation in your body, which often contracts your energy field, makes you feel awful, and then you get all tied up in knots, and you go from maybe feeling okay, good, okay, to contracted, angry, frustrated, that life isn't going the way that you want, that what you want to manifest isn't here in the moment, and feeling angry and frustrated about it. And of course, then if you have some awareness of the law of attraction, then you start beating yourself up because you're like, I'm in a funk, and of course that is pushing my desire away from me. So surrender is not the process of needing to convince yourself, of lying to yourself, of telling yourself that it's showing up when you don't really believe it. It is the process of helping you to let go of the attachment. It is the process of helping you to let go of all the resistant, dissonant energy inside of you, all the energy that says, it's not happening, I can't have it, it's not here yet, there's something wrong with me, which of course distorts your field and pushes that energy out into your future, which of course then ends up creating it. And then, of course, we get even more frustrated with ourselves because we have some awareness that we're the ones in this loop of energy and cycle which is not serving us. So first and foremost, to think of what would it take to be happy no matter what. Good rule of thumb. The next thing that I would encourage people to do in terms of surrender is to realize that the universe really does have your back, and also to realize yourself in position to the universe. Now, in the first instance, there may be some healing that is required to take place in your relationship with the universe. I have seen this so many times in my coaching practice. It's not funny, and it's natural as well. But again, it's one of those things that we don't often speak to or have identified because it's very subconscious. And that is that you probably are harboring some form of hurt, blame, or judgment towards the universe because you think that it hasn't brought you what you wanted, or maybe you've had somebody in your life who's died or passed away, and you're obviously not in agreement of that. Or you've experienced some loss, some heartbreak. Maybe you've had a circumstance where somebody stole money from you. You've experienced some kind of injustice. And subconsciously, whether you were aware of it or not at the time, you've probably made some decisions around God and the universe in relationship to those things happening. You've probably subconsciously gone, the universe wasn't there for me. The universe does not have my back. And on some level, I feel angry and disconnected from the universe because the universe hasn't followed through on my desire. And this, of course, is a kind of destiny versus fate question in terms of how much are we able to create for ourselves versus what has already been preordained for our lives. Because we do have limitations. We have limitations in the respect that we are in a soul tribe and we have incarnated into a physical form. We can't just wake up tomorrow, click our fingers and be in somebody else's body or awareness, or choose their background, their beliefs, their culture, etc. We have a physical limitation, and we have made agreements around being in this physical form and this incarnation that we're experiencing on this planet at this moment and in this time. So first of all, coming into agreement with that, like, yes, I chose my own life. And also too, what does it take to get right with the universe, to heal any hurts that I have in my relationship with the universe, so I can trust that the universe has got my back. So therefore it makes it safer for me to be able to surrender. Again, if your ego is reflexing and it's like you're not safe and the universe hasn't got you and this is not clever or this is not wise, or if you surrender to the universe is going to drop you. It's almost like a parent-child relationship where we're asking the universe to take care of us, right? And the universe is definitely in that role. The universe has infinite resources. So even in terms of our life, which might be, say it's 100 years, we can only see or anticipate a certain amount into the future. Whereas the universe, beyond time and space, so it sees everything, it's got all these resources, it can line up the synchronicities, it can see way further, it's way more vast than we are. Again, in our struggle to want to connect and know ourselves as divine and holy, when we allow ourselves to let go and let God, let the universe help us, then we can come back into tapping into this universal resource, this infinite body of energy that can help us to experience what we want, which of course is those flow states, the bliss, the ease, the feeling of whatever it is that we're looking to create coming towards us. So I take people through a process when it comes to surrender because, again, like forgiveness, I don't believe it can really be done from the rational mind. I think you need to shift into a different state of being, but essentially it's really to go into the temple of your own heart and to give up Whatever it is that you're holding on to so tightly, give it up to the universe. Like literally see yourself placing it in a bowl or a container and giving it up to the universe and saying, here, please take this burden away from me. Please take this struggle, this resistance away from me. Now, the thing is, of course, we can have some pretty sticky attachment to everything that we want, ironically. And of course, we can have attachment to people. We can have attachment to wanting to create money. We can have attachment to wanting to be validated, also known like as fame often, or success. We can have attachment to many, many different things. And when we let go of that attachment, when we give it up to the universe, when we let go and let God, when we allow ourselves to release it, which you can do really quickly, but really asking for the universe to help you to do it. I remember doing a really powerful releasing, surrendering process myself once. It was pretty much this in a nutshell. And I was crying and crying because I was just like, oh, there were so many things going up to the universe. But I could see so clearly, right? Anywhere there's any low level attachment to anything, give it up to God, take it to a higher vibration. And this is a really profound truth, which is if you need or want something from anybody, any person, there is some form of attachment there. And attachment is not love. So if you need or want something from another person, you do not love them. I'm going to let that land for a second, right? If you need or want something from another person, you do not love them. Yeah, it's profound, right? Because when you realize that it's the attachment, and this is often what we have to do when we're in love relationships, it's easy for us as humans to become attached. And attachment is not freedom. Attachment is not liberation. So also too, realizing that yes, we can be attached to the outcome, the results, our desires. And you think about it, so much more liberating if we don't need it or want it. But we're choosing to have the joyful experience of it anyway. Okay, so yes, it's safe, right, and good to have your desires. It's safe, right, and good. However, if there's any low level energy of attachment, we can release it. We can shift it to a high vibration. And then it just shifts into joyfulness. It shifts into, I want to have that experience because I know it will be joyful. And that's it. There's no other reason. There's no agendas. There's no attachments. There's no other reasons or any other energy around it apart from the pure joy of having that experience. And I get it, right? When we're in our rational mind and maybe we haven't developed our intuition so much, some of these concepts might be maybe a little confronting or a little challenging. But this is where we want to learn how to be kind to ourselves, right? Loving acceptance, compassionate inquiry. What am I holding on to? Where does it feel sticky? Where do I feel like I'm blocking myself? Those are great questions to ask yourself so you can go, okay, what is it that I actually need to give up to the universe? Where am I trying to be controlling? Where do I have expectations on how things should show up? Where am I putting pressure on myself to show up in a particular way? And where am I actually being a bit of a perfectionist? Where am I actually hurting myself because I'm putting this pressure on myself? What's looking to be liberated? What's looking to actually shift from the ego reflex, the rational mind thought process, to being transcended beyond ego and into spirit? So you think about it, you could actually spend all day long surrendering things up to the universe. Whatever it is, right? If you're doing a performance, surrendering the outcome up to the universe. If you're doing a business launch, surrendering the outcome up to the universe. If you're feeling needy in a relationship, surrendering the person up to the universe. Granted, it's kind of symbolic, but also too, the universe understands this. The universe understands this deeply. If you are looking for inspiration, there is an amazing book that I would recommend. It's called The Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer. You may have read it before, but it's a fascinating example of what's required or what happens when we surrender. He made the commitment at a really young age to live in the energy of surrender. Right? That whatever comes, comes, whatever goes, goes, and whatever is present is perfect, right? And knowing and trusting the universe on that level, it's a fascinating read. It's really inspiring. It's incredibly liberating just to read somebody else's experiment where they're literally in the energy of trusting the universe moment to moment to moment. And also, of course, as humans, that can be quite a big ask. We're literally saying, hey, universe, you're infinite and I'm not, right? I have limitations in terms of a physical body. I trust you that you know more than I do and that you can see the bigger picture. And therefore, I'm going to place my trust in you, that you're going to look after me, that I'm having all these experiences, whatever they may be in your life. And granted, some of them will be definitely around contrast. But I'm going to trust that you know, and this is all for my highest and greatest good. So please help me to see the silver lining. Please help me to see what it is that I'm here to learn from this lesson. So one of the ways that we can do this, which is really helpful and really beneficial and has definitely saved my bacon on numerous times. First one is kind of the same but different. The first one is actually to always, if you're in a bit of stress or a bit of strife, is to go and find the horizon line. This is great advice. If you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, go get yourself up a hill and look at the horizon. It just gives you a sense of spaciousness. It gives you a sense of perspective, your place on the planet, instead of feeling overwhelmed, especially if you live in a city and there's lots of tall buildings. It can be really easy to feel overwhelmed. So go somewhere, find the horizon line, which is exactly why I live in a space where I can see the horizon line, because it gives you a sense of spaciousness. It puts things in context, right? It puts things in perspective for you. Super powerful, can clear your energy, help open up your energy field, help you feel like you've got a bit more space, that you're not feeling so cluttered in your energy field, and that you can kind of come right with being on the planet. The other thing to do, which is more energetic, is to whatever is going on in your life, if it's feeling kind of overwhelming or you feel like you're trying really hard, is to actually imagine that you're sitting on a cloud with an angel and you're looking down on your life. It just gives you not just the angelic, but the heavenly perspective of why whatever you're going through right now might be occurring, right? Because there's going to be some kind of lesson or gift in it, and to learn how to train your mind to look for it. Because of course, what you focus on gets lit up. What you focus on, you're sending your energy to. What you're focusing on gets activated. So if you're choosing to see it from the divine perspective, your intuition will show you what's there for you. And sometimes our greatest gifts come from the most contrast. You know, the situations that are actually really hard for us, that's often where there's a lot of power for us to reclaim in terms of understanding our true nature and our true power to be able to create what it is that we want. That's where we want to be paying some attention. So try that out, folks. You know, you might have even done that already just in your mind or your awareness, to be sitting on that cloud with an angel looking down and just kind of asking yourself and receiving some guidance from the angel to go, what's this showing me? How's this happening for me rather than against me? What is this situation bringing forth? Is it strength, courage, resilience, patience, understanding, activating your own personal power, learning how to say no, learning how to stand up for yourself? What's the gift here? But coming back right around again, so they're just little things that you can do, kind of support yourself and help yourself in the surrender process. But again, most importantly and most powerfully, to ask the universe to help you. It's not something that you can do by yourself. And also too, that is the point. That is the whole point. The universe can shift energy for you instantaneously in the blink of an eye. even quicker than a blink of an eye. It's up to us to allow the universe to help us. So you will know too, where you're at in terms of this process, because if you're really good at surrender, you'll be experiencing a lot of ease, a lot of flow, a lot of grace. If you're a perfectionist, if you're a control freak, and again, there's nothing wrong with that, right? It is a learned behavior to try and keep yourself safe. So in the first instance, please, if you identify with that on any level, just be kind to yourself about it. You're growing, you're learning, you're understanding that maybe your perfectionism is now hurting you a bit. So be kind and loving towards yourself and let go, right? Let go of any criticism, any judgment, and say, wow, I've actually done a really good job of looking after myself. However, I have greater awareness now. And now that I have greater awareness, I can actually allow the universe to help me. I can allow the universe to help me more and more and more. And this is why the process of developing your intuition is so powerful, because it's that process of learning to embody holy energy into your physical form more and more and more every day. Getting to that place where you're really feeling comfortable with allowing the universe to show you, guide you, support you, bring you the awarenesses, bring you the insights, bring you the downloads. So really allowing yourself to step into that space where you can and will allow the universe to support you more. So that might be, and also too, right, asking some questions. How much are you allowing the universe to support you? How much are you actually surrendering to the universe so the universe can help you, and maybe even looking at like that it's actually within your control to let go. And of course, this is the pathway that becomes bumpy and tricky, is when we hold on, when we want to control it, when we are not trusting the universe, that the universe has got our back. And then, of course, the joy and the massive shifts that can come so quickly when we're willing to let go. We're willing to let the universe help us. We're willing to change our state. We're willing to go from resistance into flow. We're willing to let go of all the sticky kind of attachment. And again, you can do this with anything and anywhere that you feel like it's overwhelming you. It feels like you can't figure it out. It feels like it's hard. It feels like there's resistance. See yourself giving it up to the universe and just saying a wee prayer and just saying to the universe, please take this burden away from me, where I'm trying to figure it out and it's not working. Because often there will be circumstances in your life, folks, I'm sure you'll agree, where you're like, this is beyond me. Like, I don't know how to fix this. You don't need to know how to fix it, but you do need to be willing to let go and allow the universe to help you. And again, that can be tricky if we're running any control freak energy, any perfectionism, or anywhere we have any wounding from the past. So it is important to heal that, to feel safe enough to trust the universe, to be able to let go. And again, that's a beautiful pathway of the intuitive journey. Your intuition will show you that. So maybe some slightly different perspectives there in regards to how to approach surrender and why it's so powerful, because of course you're going from resistance back into flow. You're going from thinking that you need to figure it out by yourself to experiencing often amazing downloads or synchronicities or shifts in energy that'll blow you away, because the universe always has miraculous ways of bringing things into your life that are miraculous, that you never would have thought of in a million years if you tried to do it yourself. So allowing yourself to be in that space where you're going to be supported and receive that level of support, because of course it's a relationship. So when you let go and you let the universe help you, then you can trust the universe even more. And this is how we cultivate and develop a stronger and more powerful relationship with the universe, is by continuing to let go, let go, let go, surrender, surrender, surrender. Now, just a really short note, surrender is not the same as giving up. Sometimes people get confused by that. Surrender is about letting go. Giving up means stopping, right? You're not stopping your relationship with the universe. That's not really possible anyway. but you're just allowing the universe to help you. You're allowing the universe to say, I'm here for you. I can help you with this. You don't have to do it all by yourself. So encouraging yourself to look at it from that perspective to be able to support you. As always, folks, I hope you found this information beneficial. We would love, love, love to see your reviews and comments, especially if you're on iTunes. It's always great to see what you have to say. Thank you so much for the amazing feedback about the podcast. I have loved bringing it to you guys. Do come and find us on the Intuitive Life Academy, either on the internet or on Facebook. We'd love to have you and support you in the Facebook group. I'm sending you so much love and many, many blessings. Take good care of yourselves, and we'll look forward to connecting next time on Intuitive Abundance. Bye for now. Thank you for joining the Intuitive Abundance podcast today. If you've enjoyed the show, please be sure to subscribe and write us a review so we can help other people positively impact their lives. I would really love that. If you're ready to activate the energy of abundance within you, then be sure to go to www.intuitivelifeacademy.com to sign up for our abundance activation process. Until next time, here's to your ever increasing freedom. All my love. Bye for now.